What is up, Laker gang? Welcome to episode 2 of the Razz&Dazz podcast. I'm Razz.
And I'm Dazz. What's up, guys?
So last week, you guys tuned in. We talked about all the new upcoming Lakers that are on the current squad. And this week, we're going to talk about the former Lakers that are no longer a part of us. Now, Dylan, it's crazy. Daz, or should I call you Daz? It's crazy, man. We have 3 guys left on our roster from last season. Can you imagine?
Yeah, we pretty much got rid of our entire roster, but we added a bunch of really great players. And we talked about that last week. We like how this team's looking. We think we're going to do really well. But we lost a lot of skill and a lot of players that have been on this team for quite some time now.
Looking like a retirement home, right?
Yeah.
According to the media, we're a retirement home. You like to say that. So, yeah. I mean, let's just get right into it. So, let's start off with the Washington Wizard trade package that sent 3 of our guys to Washington. You already know I'm going to miss KCP the most. I know you're going to miss Trezz as well, right? And then we got the 3rd guy in that package named Kyle Alexander Kuzma, known as Kuz, known as Kuz Control. I don't even know. What else?
Kuzmania.
Kuzmania, you know, the Laker nicknames we gave him. We were in love with him at one point in our time of being Laker fans. But so Kuz is gone. Kuz is gone, and I'll tell you how I feel about him. The first year, and I think a lot of Laker fans felt like this with him, right? We were kind of putting him on a pedestal next to Ingram and Randall, and even current 6th man of the year, Jordan Clarkson, right? So how do you feel about Kuzma being gone? And we'll get more into if he's going to be beneficial for the Wizards or not.
Kuzma, for me, was a player. I really like Kuzma, and I'm going to say this before because I get so much slack and identified as a Kuz hater when I don't know why people have such like this like black and white decision on it. I like Kuz, but I think him moving to the Washington Wizards is better for him and for the Lakers. And I'll go into it.
Yeah.
Kuz being a Laker, I really liked it. I thought he brought this flair. He has this swag like Kelly Oubre kind of esque, where he's like very Hollywood, right?
Hollywood. Oh, you just said it.
Yeah. Like his girlfriend's a model. Like, you know, he lives up to the lifestyle of like LeBron James, right? They have the personality to fit the lights of the Staples Center. And so when you have Kuz and that type of player, especially at a young age, when he's still trying to get developed and figure out who he is as a player, it doesn't mix well. And when he's too like excited in his dress and his pre-game fits,
bro,
you know, it's like,
bro, he changed his hair. Seasonal, bro. Seasonal.
Yeah, you got like a Dennis Rodman thing going on. But it's like when you see a guy like this, it's like it goes along with like he has a lot of talk, right? Like if he's gonna do the walk, or if he's gonna do the talk, he better do the walk. And I'm not saying he didn't do that, but I feel like there's opportunities in which he could have done it better. Granted, we've talked about this a lot, Raz. One of the things that we noticed with Kyle Kuzma is the Lakers never really ran plays for him. It's like he was the 3rd guy in the team, and
ever since Frank Vogel came in charge, right?
Right. And it's like he just took whatever role was asked of him. He never got a solidified role. So being said, you know, it's kind of tough to find yourself as a player in the NBA, especially when you're being asked that. Raz, what do you think?
I mean, I agree with literally almost everything. I think, you know, with Kuz, it's like he was a 4-year player out of college. He came, I think he was like 22 when he joined the league, right? Won that summer league MVP. And I think as well as Alex Caruso, right? If I'm mistaken, he did that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, Kuzma, right? Comes in summer league, shocks all of us Laker fans. And then like it went from, you know, us OG Laker fans from the 2000 era, not forum time OG, but Shaq Kobe OG. Remember when Luke Walton used to go in the games and everyone would yell like Luke. Remember that?
We got
like
the same thing.
The whole Staples would be doing that. I'm not sure if I'm having some connection issue here, but anyways, I'm going to keep talking about it. So when Kuz came, you know, we're good. Yeah. So when Kuz came, you know, everyone's saying like Kuz, it sounded like Luke. So it was fun for us at that one Boston Celtics game. He kind of went crazy. Hey, I know you, bro. Who doesn't remember that, right?
That was a crazy game.
And we kind of got, you know, like convinced. And then do you remember that first year? Like I was just talking about with Ingram and Randall. There was like the all-star voting polls, like, and Lonzo was in that. Like, who's more likely to be an all-star in the like several years or in the next year? And Kuz and Lonzo had like 80% of the votes, and then Ingram and Randall had like less than 18%. This is like a spectrum Laker game stat, you know? So Kuz, like you pretty much nailed it with, you know, Vogel didn't use him offensively, right? Luke Walton used him as a primary scorer, and he never found his role. He wasn't consistent, like you mentioned. And I think him heading over to Washington is going to be great for him as long as their coach, forgot his name, their coach uses him offensively, because he's not going to be your defensive guy, get rebounds. And like, he doesn't like that. That's not his swag, right?
Right. Yeah. Well said. I guess, you know, to say the least, the ladies are going to miss him. So
facts.
Let's move on to our next player, who was also involved in that trade package, and probably one that you're going to want to talk about quite a bit. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He was a Laker for a handful of years. He was actually the oldest or longest term Laker besides Kyle Kuzma and LeBron James.
DUI ankle. Remember that?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. He played some legendary games in the purple and gold. That's for sure. But Razz, what do you think about KCP being involved in the trade package for Russell Westbrook?
I mean, it is what it is, right? I feel like it's business. You know, I love KCP. I used to always throw that slogan out, like KCP always ready. I feel like he gave me that. I'm not comparing the skill to these former Lakers, but just like their like aura. Like, he reminded me of like the Robert Horry of the three-peat, and then he reminded me of like Trevor Ariza in like in 09 with the Lakers. Like, he just gave off that vibe, you know. And I felt like he took criticism well. Like, we've seen it. You remember when LeBron would get in his face, and even when you know all the fans were on him, he never backed down. Like, he was a true Laker. I think he rocked the culture, and he was inconsistent last year, I think, due to injuries. Like, we've always talked about it on our Instagram lives, right? How every time he used to go up for a shot, layup, you see him like limping his ankle. He had a bum knee and ankle, I think, all last season, which kept him really, you know, out of his rhythm. But we're gonna miss him. I think we're gonna miss him. He would have been really nice on this roster we have right now if we still had him. I think he would have just fit right in, you know, with Westbrook and LeBron and AD. So I'm gonna miss him, man. How you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost in 100% agreement with you. I think KCP is one of those guys that is just fantastic on a team, especially with LeBron James. One thing I really like that he did well, and you touched on this too, is his ability to deal with the pressure of Los Angeles, because even we saw this with Dennis Schroeder, who we're going to talk about. We've seen this with Kuz. We've seen this with Trezz. We've seen with so many Laker players, where Danny Green last season, where Laker fans just go at these people, at their throats. And like, we're on social media a lot. We see this, Razz. We see it firsthand.
It's
bad. And when KCP
Danny
wasn't
Green bad.
Danny Green bad, like, but when KCP wasn't shooting well, he received it really, really bad. I mean, even earlier this season, he wasn't shooting very well, or last season rather, just wasn't shooting well. And, you know, it causes so much, like, it causes a scene online, and these players are aware of it. It's not like they don't see it. And so just for, you know, a player to be able to withstand that and then come back and improve his shooting as well. I mean, he shoots with a lethal shooter who trains him on his shooting. And we've seen KCP, you know, really grow as a player in this past few years. And, you know, he's one of those guys, when you think back of, like, you know, Laker role players, he's going to be one of those guys that you remember.
Yeah, I think, like, well said, bro. I think him on the Wizards, you know, it's good. He has Trezz and Kuzma there. I mean, there's Beal. You know, they have Spencer Dinwiddie now. So I still think he needs like a LeBron, like a Russ, like a Kyrie to get him open, to find his shots. And I don't know how he's gonna fit on the Wizards. Like, yeah, he's a veteran mentality. He's won a championship. No disrespect on him, right? It's just like, I feel like the Wizards aren't his best fit. Like, for Trezz and Kuzma, I could see it, but KCP needs to be on like I could see him in Philly. You know what I mean? I don't know. Obviously the Lakers, but I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna fit right in. Like, I don't know. I hope it goes north and not south for him, for real.
Yeah, I mean, hey, he's a client of Clutch Sports. Maybe he might find his way back to the purple and gold one day. We'll see.
Dude, good point. I think he will one. I really do. I really do.
I hope so. I really do.
Okay, let's move on to the third guy, Trezz in the trade package. So Montrezl Harrell, I think he was kind of like the spirit of the Lakers last season, right? The guy always showed out energy. In general, we're gonna miss him, right? I mean, the guy came with energy every third quarter, fourth quarter. There was games where Vogel, right, didn't want to use him when we needed him, and I think he didn't show his full potential. But then again, I think Trezz as well. Like, he's a really good player, but he needs to. I feel like he needs, roles around him, plays ran around him so he could get under the basket, put it up. I don't think he could, 1v1 under the paint. He showed us that jump shot in the start of the season, but the team needs to be on like a rhythm for him to perform well. But we're gonna miss his, his attitude, man. He was a dog. He was probably one of 3 out of the whole team, the roster last year, that had that energy. Yeah. I know you like Trezz, man. How you feeling?
So let's rewind a little bit to Clipper Trezz. Clipper Trezz played underneath Doc Rivers, and he was playing a very specific role. I mean, he was made to just bang people up in the paint, and he was playing center. Like, he was doing his thing. He got on this Laker roster, and Vogel pretty much said, scratch that. Do what you feel is best. We saw his jumper, like you mentioned, and we saw that tenacity. But again, we never really got to see it on the court in action consistent. It was like he would play well for a short period, and then Vogel would move him out of the rotation because,
so annoying.
Because here's a good example. Because Marc Gasol was back from his COVID, Trezz got kicked to the fucking bench. Excuse my language, but he got kicked to the bench. So it's like, come on, dude. Like, we never got to see Trezz in full form. And even if it was against or with another center on the court, like, thinking about like Drummond and Trezz on the court, it never happened at the same time. But those two on the court would be crazy. It probably wouldn't work out, but just like, there's just situations where in games where like Trezz needs to be in right now, and he was not in the game. And it was frustrating, a 6-man to have so much potential on this Laker team who wants to win. It just didn't happen the way we wanted it to. So I'm sad to see him go, but I think just with his whole 6-man and everything he's been doing, I expect to see Trezz really play fantastic ball this upcoming season.
Dude, yeah, I think he's going to fit with the Wizards. I think Spencer and Bradley Beal, they'll take care of him for sure. And
facts, man.
The Lakers front office is going to regret it. We needed him back. I think he would have, because he's that backup somewhat big that could do his thing. Remember that quote he made about I forgot word by word, but he was talking about how, like, if you're worried something and you're in the jungle, like, I don't know. Basically, he was talking about how it doesn't matter how big that center is. Like, I'm still going to come to work. Like, it was a crazy quote. Like, it was like in the beginning of the season. I don't know if you remember. It was a long time ago.
No, I recall that. Dude, that's just him, dude. That's just him, dude. Like, he's just a beast. So he's going to be very, very missed. And I actually wanted to ask you really quickly, too, before we get on to the next player. If you were able to pick only one of the players between Trezz and Dwight Howard, who would you take?
Ooh.
And put it down in the comments. If you guys are here and you guys get this far, who would you rather have? You only get one. So let's say you can run it back with Dwight in the bubble, which is happening, or we can have that little phone call situation right when Dwight was about to re-sign, and then you have a flip-flop with Trezz. So who are you taking?
So when it happened, I was excited about Trezz, but damn, man, bro, I gotta say Trezz, because the longevity wise.
Okay.
Longevity wise.
Okay.
But that's the key word, right? If we're trying to win next year, then Dwight. But if we want to keep for years, then Trezz. Does that make sense? Because Dwight's getting old. Yeah, Dwight's not gonna go back in time anytime soon, bro. He's 33, 4, 5.
Maybe, I think older than that. But yeah. I mean, he's he's 35. Old. But I agree with you. 35. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you fully. I think if we had to think longevity, Trezz is definitely the option, but win now is Dwight. And also, I mean, I don't know how vocal Trezz was off the court, but Dwight just brings that energy, off the court too, that you need. So
no, he's huge, bro. Like, you saw him when Dwight got signed again, dude. His energy, dude, we needed that.
He's meant for it. All right, let's talk next about a player that myself included, I know you for sure, and many other Laker fans, probably the biggest loss this offseason in Alex Caruso, the GOAT, the Caruso.
Caruso, dude.
This guy was a fan favorite. He started in the G League on the South Bay Lakers. He got his two-way contract. He started getting playing time, and the Lakers signed him on full time. And he's really just flourished on this team. He's been known as the right-hand man to LeBron James. They have the best efficiency rating in the NBA as a duo. And Alex Caruso is just a player. He's a fantastic person to be around. He gets busted for illegal substances in Texas, and he has a good time doing it. Razz, what is Alex Caruso for the?
I was just thinking about your Caruso shirt you made when he got locked up,
right?
You know, with the marijuana possession.
Quick shout out to the shirt plug right here.
Oh, we got that. That's another one right there. Welcome home, Brody. Designed by your one and only Dylan.
Yours truly.
Retro MFG, Retro Hoops MFG Laker Boost. All right, cool. So, what do I think of AC Fresh, bro? I'm gonna miss Billy McDonald yelling Caruso. You know, I'm gonna miss all of that, bro. This guy was the white goat Laker, bro. You know, one of, I think, very few. But real talk, like where he came from, like you just said, to how LeBron literally, like, he grew this guy, you know. And of course, Caruso is his own man, but just into a champion. Like, he breeded him into a champion, you know, and seeing his progress from having somewhat hair to then not having hair, right? He went bald, all the memes, you know, that one meme of Caruso, and then it turns into Michael Jordan, and now he happens to be a Chicago Bull. But we're gonna miss AC, man. His grit, his spark off the bench, that energy, it's rare. And I think anyone that gets Caruso, they're winning. Like, they're winning as in their roster's improving.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Caruso, on your point of him balding, was the exact example of the opposite optimal basketball player, right? A white balding guy. And he
it's like, what?
It's like, bro, like, I relate. He put us on the map, bro. He put us on the map. So
Caruso goat,
man. But like, Alex Caruso is just such a likable person. Like, he's been with this team for so long in the bubble, you know, and so obviously he's kind of the same line as KCP. He's just a Laker that's been around for some time. We saw his upcoming. And so it's just one of those players. You could say the same thing probably about Randall or, you know, Jordan Clarkson. It's just a player that we're always going to love. And so, you know, I'm super appreciative that he's been able to have this journey on this Laker team. And I mean, he's going to be forever enshrined in Laker history. He definitely has a place. So.
Yeah, man. I hope he returns a Laker one day, just like KCP. I want both of them back, man. Oh my goodness.
Dude, hopefully in time. But let's move on, Razz, and let's stir it up a little bit, because these next two guys that we're going to talk about, we don't like these guys. No. Not that we don't like them. We have nothing personal against them. Hey, maybe not. But
I've been mad at Dennis since he. Wow! I gave it away. Who are we talking about?
Let's go. We're going to talk about Dennis Schroeder, and then we're going to talk about Andre Drummond. But let's kick it off, Razz.
Penguin.
Let's kick it off. Dennis, the money bag. Schroeder. Let's talk about it.
You mean Dennis, the first Laker in playoff history to start and get 0 points in a playoff game? Money bag Dennis Schroeder. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about. We talking about that 80 mil contract.
Timestamp. Anyways, so Dennis Schroeder. My initial thoughts, very excited, right? When I think a lot of Laker fans were, I'm sure you were.
Yeah, 100%.
Came to the Lakers. I liked him in OKC. He was, you know, not under the limelight. He was coming off the bench, doing good things for OKC with Chris Paul leading the team. You know, that team had like a 0.2% chance to make the playoffs. They made the playoffs. They did really good. Cool. Comes to LA. Immediately when he was coming to LA, I personally wanted him and Trezz to come off the bench. I knew Trezz was, but I wanted Dennis to come off the bench with Trezz. I think it would have been perfect. I'm sure a lot of Laker fans felt that way too.
Yeah.
But we needed scoring, right? We needed scoring, and he is a scoring first point guard and did pretty well for us the first few weeks, month, whatever. And then it got to a point where I'm like watching this dude, and He's just standing here, right? The screen comes, he just goes back into the paint, comes back out to the three, shoots it, or does that whole 360 and drives in and takes this like extra like contact layup, and it's just sloppy, right? So I didn't like him because he didn't run a single pick and roll properly with LeBron, Drummond, or AD. And maybe it was because of injuries, maybe because it wasn't with time together, the practices we had. But Dennis Schroeder, man, that's my take on him in the season. We'll get to his mentality after the season and what happened. But go ahead. How are you feeling about Dennis Schroeder?
So I'm spot on with you. I thought Dennis Schroeder was going to be coming off the bench, and I don't know who promised him this, but someone said to him, "You're going to be a starter. We're going to give you that starting position." I don't know who decided that. I thought there was opportunities for many other players to start ahead of him, and so Dennis Schroeder coming to Lakers, of course I'm happy. He's, like you said, on OKC, he was a solidified player.
Yeah.
He was able to handle his own, even playing alongside Russell Westbrook, who's now a Laker. He played fantastic ball. So there's no doubt he's good. Now, the problem started when the Lakers offered him his contract extension. And the Lakers offered him a significant amount of money. I actually have it all right here. They offered him $84 million on a 4-year deal. So that's quick math.
How quick was this into the season? Like,
this was March 30th. So this was like a month into the season. The Lakers offered him some big money, or sorry, not a month in. This was a few months in, because it started in December. So, 4 months in, halfway throughout the season, the Lakers offered him big money, $84 million, 4 years. That's roughly, 20 and some change per year. And so
it's a lot.
He declines it. And Laker Nation is shook. We're like,
idiot.
We're like, holy crap, Lakers just offered him this much money, and this guy's chasing the bag. So let's just get this straight. When you come to the Los Angeles Lakers, it's not only you get to play for the Los Angeles Lakers, you also get the audience. Obviously, you're going to be making your money from basketball, but that's not enough for him, Razz. He's not good enough. He needs more money. And what does that do in the long run? It screws him over. He price tagged himself way too high, and it bit him in the ass. So, that's how I feel about Dennis Schroeder. I think it's even funnier that he ended up signing with the Celtics for a $5.9 million deal. Razz, that's 25% of what he was chasing with the Lakers.
Bro, he lost out on what? $78 million. Dog, what is this guy's problem? I think he's like the perfect example of being a bonehead.
Of what not to do.
Like,
don't do this.
Like, what are you doing? Like, oh my gosh, bro. Let's not even start. Like, we could end this topic real quick, but Laker faithful sniff the fake from the real, right? Like, we know if someone's here for the bag, if someone's here for the culture. And this guy didn't rock purple and gold at all. I didn't feel his presence as a fan watching from the game. Greediness, attitude. Would go on Twitch after a freaking game happened. Do you remember when he would do that? He'd go on Twitch.
Dude, I think one of them was during a game, actually.
Bro, yes. And then he logged off or something like that.
Yeah, after. Like he realized, like, yo, bro, you should be watching the game right now. And he was like, oh.
Like, what, bro? Like, the only reason why he was popping on Twitch is because AD would go live with him on GTA or Warzone, right? So those days are over. He's a Boston Celtic now. Another reason for us to boo him. Can you imagine, bro?
Facts, bro. It's going to be crazy. That first game back, Dennis Schroeder's going to get it. At this point,
I can't wait.
There's like a list of like players that Laker fans hate, right? And there's it's an ongoing list, right? So like Rondo was one of them, but then he became a Laker, so now we like him. We took him off the list. But there's players that if you do the Lakers wrong, or you're just not ride or die for purple and gold, which to each their own. If you're not here for that, it's cool, but we're not going to ride with you anymore. So it's like
that was Danny Green. Dennis Schroeder was our Danny Green.
Danny Green, right? And Danny Green even had the opportunity to potentially come back this season, and it didn't happen. So whatever, it's those type of players. So he's gonna get his coming his way. I'm sure Laker fans, now that there's no kind of filter of supporting your team, he's gonna hear what Laker Nation actually feels about him. But Razz, there's another player too, in Andre Drummond, and
you know how I felt about him from the start. I was tripping on him, but hey. He's Andre Drummond.
Yeah. Let me preface this, because he came to the Lakers. He got a contract buyout. He wasn't playing. He got a contract buyout, and he decided to come to the Lakers for the remainder of the season. And we had the thoughts and the intentions he was not going to re-sign with us because he's going to ask for more money. I guess it didn't really happen that way. But being said, you know, when you have a player like Andre Drummond coming to the Lakers, who's so big, it's exciting, right? Like, I wouldn't say it's on the level of Russell Westbrook, but it's exciting thing to have a solidified star, you know, all-star. He's played on some pretty good teams in his past. And so it was exciting. We thought we were going to get something handed to us, a golden egg, perhaps.
We needed rebounding, right?
We needed rebounding. We thought he was going to be the man for the job. And oh boy, he wasn't. He clogged the paint. He didn't move very well. He was just looking really slow. And yes, there was some times where he could have, you know, he actually did look good. I do
one game against the Nets.
Yeah, one game. Actually, yeah, you're right. Against the Nets. He did show out against the Nets. But it's like a guy like that. It's, you know, I guess one thing to say, though, just to kind of give him some credit, is he didn't really get time to play with LeBron or AD. You know, through LeBron's injury, through AD's injury, it was really rough on him. He came through halfway throughout the season. So it's not like he was with these guys, not even practicing. Razz, what was it, like 13 practices or 15 practices last season?
Yeah, man, 13 practices, 30% capacity of fans, like all year long.
Yeah.
Even the first round, we had so many. Oh my, bro, that thing was annoying. But Dre, you nailed it. I feel like, look, so when he was coming, personally, I was iffy at the time because I felt like, okay, so Vogel's already like struggling offensively, right, with the rotations, and AD needs to go to work in the paint, and Drummond is not like Dwight where he would do the high pick and roll defense and slide down. That's why we really missed Dwight. That's why I think everyone was upset. So when Dre came in, I mean, I think he's still a good force to have under the rim. I think if LeBron and him spent more time together, I definitely do think he could have been better, but they didn't have time, right? He came in halfway. But Drummond was disastrous, bro. Like at one point in the season, like, not to hate, I was calling him Kwame Brown 2.0. You know what I mean? Dude, his like shot selection, his IQ with his shot selection is just, it's literally a high schooler's, bro. Like, he doesn't, I don't know how to say it, bro. He doesn't know like how to use his feet properly or something, but he's still a force. And I think now that he's on, what is it? He's on Philly. That's even more weird to me, bro. How is Joel Embiid gonna go to work? Are they just gonna like not play them on the same time on the court? Because there's no way that's gonna work.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting situation for sure because Embiid's their primary player. He's their star.
Yeah.
Especially now they're looking to package Simmons somewhere. So it's like you just sign this player, which I don't know the exact number they signed him for, but
bet minimum, bro, when he was complaining about wanting more money to stay with the Lakers.
Yeah. So who knows what that situation is going to be like. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. So with that being said, let's move on from the clowns. Let's talk about a former Laker champion in Markieff Morris, otherwise known as Keith. And we both really like this guy. But Razz, you start us off. Talk about Keith.
Yeah, so I think, okay, well, Keith for us was really good in the bubble, right? Like, we kind of had him run that small ball starting lineup, right? Against I'm not sure if it was just against the Heat, but maybe another series.
The Rockets,
because
they had a really small team.
Yes. Yeah. So the Rockets. So he's a good power forward to have, right? I mean, he knows how to box out. He knows how to play in the post game. His shot is not the greatest in the post, but he has good defense. He's a body, and he could knock down threes if he's feeling it, right?
Yep.
So he took that vet minimum deal, right? $2.3 million to join the Miami Heat this recent summer. And I think it's the best decision for him because I really do think he's going to get more playing time on the Heat. Miami already has pretty much, they just got Dwayne Dedmon as their center, and then they have Bam Adebayo, which is power forward center. And I think Keith is going to be their third backup to all of that, which he's going to get a lot more minutes. He averaged about 19 minutes with the Lakers. I really do think he's going to get more minutes on the Heat, and the Heat need a power forward. And I think Keith's just going to play basketball over there instead of, coming in and just helping out with a few threes. He's going to do his thing. I think we're going to see an improved Keith for sure if he stays healthy. How you feeling about it?
Yeah, I mean, Keith was another one of those guys that when you lose it hurts, right? He won a championship with the team. He was loved by all the fans. And frankly, I feel like he didn't get enough minutes this past season. Um, when he came into that bubble season, we actually picked him up at the deadline. He was alongside J.R. Smith and Bubble Cheese. I'm blanking on his name. What's his name?
Deion Waiters.
Deion Waiters.
Cheese.
Bubble Cheese.
Dude.
And so, like,
oh, that guy was funny.
We have Markieff Morris come on this team and just really outshine all expectations from him.
Facts, bro.
And so, when he stuck around, he took a very small contract from this Laker team to stay with the team. And, obviously he rode with this team. He was down for it. He took less money. And I mean, there's a whole story about him and his brother sharing the same bank account, but it's like he took less money because he was here for the ride. Like, he was down for the team. And that's something that we appreciate as Laker fans. And so obviously he's a guy that you hate to see, but like you said, I think he's going to have a really nice role in this Heat team, who's really going to be a contender in this East because, with Oladipo probably coming off the bench, you have Jimmy Butler, PJ Tucker, Bam Adebayo. They also have
Tyler
Hero. Like, yeah, they got a crazy team, really crazy team. So I hope they go far, and I hope the best for Keith.
I wish we kept them. We needed a forward, man, but it's all good. I guess we could wrap this podcast up with the last three players on our list, and Wesley Matthews, Ben McLemore, and Marc Gasol. So Wes kind of showed out for us in the end of that season and that playoff push, right? I mean, I think he had a lot of energy. I think Vogel respected his defense. I think his season was flip-flop too. I mean, minutes were everywhere, right? Vogel's rotations, like taking people out 2 months at a time and throwing them back in like at random points, I think messed with a lot of the guys' heads last year that didn't get enough minutes. So Wes was a nice piece for the Lakers. I think he still had more to show. No one has signed him right now. So, I mean, how you feeling about Wesley Matthews?
Hey, if he's free, man, Lakers might want to sign him a minimum deal.
Why not?
Why not, man? I really like Wes. I mean, thinking about, the transition from Danny Green, obviously Laker fans didn't like him. He still won the championship, but he wasn't so bad when we lost him. I didn't feel any kind of way toward it. Now with Wesley Matthews, I actually liked Wes a bit more than I liked Danny Green, just in terms of how his role fit with this Laker team. And, I thought he was a fantastic catch and shoot player. He worked really well with LeBron James. LeBron just tossed him the ball wherever he might be. And, he'd shoot fantastic. So I was very happy with him. And if he comes back, I wouldn't complain at all. So
yeah, it's crazy though how he started for the Bucks and then like he literally started for the Bucks, bro, in the prior season of the bubble.
That's facts.
We were so, man. Anyways, yeah, we were so excited with a lot of those picks and whoever we got last year, and like it's just crazy how it turned out. They're all gone now. But Ben McLemore, late signing, right halfway through the season. He didn't really play much, like at all, and we needed a shooter, and we still didn't play him even towards the end of that regular season. Now I understand playoffs if he's not going to get minutes or not, but I think he could have done something. But then again, I feel like he was that player that he needed LeBron, right, to set him up, and LeBron's injury and AD's injury and all that stuff kind of, I guess, maybe limited him.
Yeah. Ben Mac was a fantastic player where in his first game, I mean, he came off the bench and he went like 5 for 6. And Laker fans were like immediately in love. We were like, holy crap, Ben Mac's the real deal.
Oh, we're going to win the finals, bro. Yeah, we're going to win it all, bro.
But I mean, Ben Mac is a pretty good shooter. He shoots like 43%. He was a little inconsistent, we'll say that, but he was a player that even if he was coming off the bench for the first time in the fourth quarter, you can count on him to knock down a 3-pointer. He didn't have to get warm. And so, I liked him. And honestly, I was kind of hoping he got re-signed by the Lakers. But he's moving to a Portland team where, they already have a few shooting guards. So it's going to be interesting to see how his skills are going to play in there. They're probably going to be a really good shooting team. So we'll see. I mean, Damian Lillard, you're going to have Ben Mac. I mean, they also
they got some shooters. Norman Powell, right? Well, he's kind of like a forward, but he shoots. Yeah, man. And then the last guy on our list, since we went down through 10 Lakers, I can't believe that we let go of 10 Lakers, maybe Marc Gasol, right? So Marc Gasol, apparently there's some rumors saying he might not be a lock for the Lakers. I think Gasol is good with the shooters we have if we were to bring him back. Offensively only, though, not defensively, because I don't think his feet keep up with the modern day NBA pace of the spacing. I think if it's playoff basketball and It's more like, you know, one-on-one in the paint, which not a lot of teams are doing that anymore. You don't see bigs battling down low. Like Embiid, Jokic, AD sometimes. Like we don't really see that. So I don't know if defensively he's going to be that good, but offensively, I think he could, if he were to return, he could, you know, space the floor and just get the shooters involved while LeBron sits or Russ sits.
Yeah. I mean, last season he was an interesting player, right? Like he came on the team to a minimum contract. He's still signed to that same minimum contract, but he came on with a minimum contract, and everyone was like, "Oh, we're just going to trade him. We're not keeping him." But Raz and I both said he's going to stick with this team till the end. And
Facts.
I mean, he's just a value player. You know, for what you're getting, he was a defensive player of the year. He has some accolades, and he's definitely a good player. He's also a former Laker too. We actually traded him for his brother, Pau Gasol. So, you know, it's cool to have these guys on the team. And I think for especially Marc Gasol, a player who's really good at passing, he spreads the floor well, and he's able to hit a 3-pointer. It's cool to have that type of player. Kind of like a comparable player is Robin Lopez, you know, or like one of those guys. Or sorry, not Robin Lopez.
No, I get it.
But you know, he spreads the floor extremely well. And so, you know, now I'm not too sad if he does end up leaving the team.
Same.
You know, it is what it is. But if he's back on the team, he'll probably start with this current lineup and the roster that we have, and just get kicked to the bench after a few minutes. So it is what it is. I'm neutral on Mark, but you know, it was cool to have him back on the team.
Man, that's crazy. We just went through 10 people.
Hey, you know, I'll ask you, Raz, do you like this current 2022 season team more, or do you like last year's team more?
Last year's team was trash.
You say it's trash, but we
due to circumstances.
Okay, fair enough.
I had to throw that out there
because I will say, like, just to kind of recap this entire team that left, I truly believe in my heart, if Anthony Davis and LeBron James were not injured last season, it would be a completely different story. We would have had better timing with Drummond, obviously also with Dennis Schroeder as well. But just some of these other guys, I mean, Alex Caruso, he's a stud. Like Trezz, you know, he had potential if he was going to get some more playing time. Kuz, he's obviously NBA champion. And just the culmination of those guys, if we would have been healthy going into the offseason, it would have been a different story. And I truly believe that. Maybe not an NBA championship, but I definitely think we would have been able to get by the Suns. Because keep in mind, Raz, we went up against the Suns. Didn't we 2-0 them at first?
Dude, yeah. And
then they 2-2'd, and then it was a reverse. It was like a 2-0, and then they swept us from there.
We destroyed them at the end of the season. Remember, AD went crazy on AD.
AD had like 40 on them. And
so I mean, he was hesitant, man. Injuries, you know, it is what it sucks. You're right. I agree, man. If we were healthy,
it would have been a different story for all these guys leaving this team. But you know, with every previous season, there's a new season, and I'm super excited for this team.
All right, then, man. That is episode 2. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Dylan, before
if you guys like this kind of video, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It definitely helps the channel. Obviously, it's just an extension of what we're doing on Instagram. So if you guys do like a little bit more of a social media content, go check out Razz Topics. He covers everything in the NBA. And then if you guys also want to check out my page, Laker Boost, it's more of obviously Laker focused, but there is some news around the NBA, and we go live every game at halftime and post game. We're dedicated to you guys, and we do giveaways. So go check out our Instagrams. They'll be linked below.
Giveaways. Y'all need to come through.
Yeah.
All right, man. Scott. All right, then. Peace.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to the episode 2 podcast. We got some more stuff coming. It's only going to get more exciting from here. So subscribe, come back for more, and thanks for watching. Peace.